Hello everyone, this is Pallavi and today we are going to read Chapter 8 Vital Villages, Thriving Towns. So let's start. So now let's just get the meaning of this chapter first. The heading, Vital Villages. Vital basically means necessary or important. So important villages, thriving towns. Thriving means developing. Okay, thriving means developing. So if we decode, if we get the real meaning of the chapter, it is important villages and developing towns. Okay, so important villages and developing towns. First topic that we will go through is iron tools and agriculture. So, things made up of iron and steel are part of our daily lives. Yes, they are. The use of iron began in India around 3000 years ago. Some of the largest collection of iron tools and weapons were found in megalithic burials. So, in chapter 4, if you remember, there is something known as megalithic burials. Okay, where they are simply burials made up of big megalithic stones. Okay, megalithic means big, huge stones. Okay, and some of the largest collection means we have found a number of iron tools from the megalithic burials. 2500 years ago there was a growing use of iron tools. Okay, 2500 years ago the iron tools were getting in use. Okay, like plowshare and axes. So we discovered iron and then we started the use of iron in agriculture processes. Plowshare etc. was used for increasing agricultural production. So through this the plowshare, this is an image of plowshare. Okay, so when you are using this plowshare, then the soil becomes more fertile. Okay, the soil becomes more fertile. Okay, so then it increases the agricultural production. Irrigation. Next topic is irrigation, a step to increase production. So no kingdoms would be possible without the development of villages. And then yes, no kingdoms would be possible because without the development of villages, and a major role is irrigation in the development of villages. New tools and the system of transplantation increased production. Now new tools like the iron tool, axes, plowshare and all that, and the system of transplantation. What is transplantation now? Transplantation is basically a method to grow rice. First, you put the paddy seeds in the soil, and then you wait for them to grow a bit, like 5 centimeters or something, 15-16 centimeters. They grow, and then you pluck them out. Then after a few days, you do that plowing of the field and everything you do, make the field ready, and then again you plant it. So that is known as transplantation. Irrigation was also used in all this process. Irrigation systems that were built during this time included canals. This is a canal image. Wells. This is a well image. Tanks were also used, the tanks that we have right now in our homes. And then artificial lakes. This is an artificial lake. At that time also there were artificial lakes. Can you imagine? People in the villages. Now how are the lives of the people in the villages? How did they live? So in the Tamil region, large landowners were known as vellars. Okay, Tamil region, the Tamil Nadu region, large, big landowners, that the big people who own land, a lot of land, were known as vellars. It's a Tamil word. Then ordinary plowmen were known as uzhavars. Okay, ordinary plowmen who used to just plow the field. Okay, ordinary. Okay, normal plowmen were known as uzhavars. Landless laborers. Okay, landless laborers, agricultural laborers, including slaves, were known as Kadaisiyar and Adimai. Okay, they were known as Kadisiyar and Adimai. Then northern part villages, the northern part villages headman was known as Grama Bhojka. Okay, he was known as Gram Bhojka. This post was hereditary. Okay, this post was hereditary. This means that like one Grama Bhojka is there, so that if some death happens or some misfortune, he dies. So then his son will become the next Gram Bhojka, then that son's son, like that. It's hereditary. Okay. Then the king often sent him to collect taxes. The king often sent Grama Bhojka to collect taxes because he was the headman, village headman, so he can do it. And he often functioned as a judge or a policeman. So he had multiple jobs to do, like a judge, a policeman, to collect taxes and to take care of the village, right? He's the headman of the village. So other independent farmers were known as grihapatis. Other independent farmers that were doing farming on their own field independently, they were known as grihapatis. Then landless laborers, they don't have any land, nothing they have, they were known as karmakaras. Okay, they were known as karmakaras. Okay, I hope you got all the names. So next is the earliest Tamil composition. So now in this basically we'll read something about Sangam literature. Okay, this is the earliest literature work in Tamil. Okay, it was composed 2300 years ago. Now these texts are known as Sangam because they were supposed. Okay, they were supposed to have been compiled and composed and compiled in assemblies. Okay, some assemblies that were known as Sangams of poets. Their poets used to sit and they used to compile or compose the poems and all that grammar stuff in Tamil. Okay, and this Sangam of poets was held in Madurai, city of Madurai. Okay, the Tamil terms that were mentioned in the previous slide, Adimai, Kadaisiyar, Grihapati, Gram Bhojka and all that, were found in the Sangam literature. So these words, they were taken from the Sangam literature. So Madurai is somewhere here in Tamil Nadu. Okay, and this is a text. This one is a text from the Sangam literature. Okay, so let's move to the next slide. I hope you understood this. Then next is finding about the cities, stories. Now we'll find something about the cities at that time when the agriculture production of iron tools and all that was increasing. So we'll find out something about the cities over there by stories. There are many methods. So one is by the stories. Jatakas. You must have heard the Jataka tales and all that. So these were stories composed by ordinary people. Okay, they were composed by ordinary people. That means they were like created by ordinary people, but they were written down and they were preserved. They were written down, okay, and preserved. So these ordinary people, they used to just tell orally. Okay, and the Buddhist monks, they used to write it and preserve it for further, like for the other generations to come, so that they can read these. Okay, sculptures. Okay, sculptors carved scenes. So now something like this, they carved scenes depicting people's lives in towns and villages as well as in forests. So this is something they have carved on a stone. Okay, this is found in your book as well. So they have carved something to show how people lived in the forest, how they lived in the cities, how are their lives. Okay, and here also is the same, but it's a painting. Okay, many of these sculptures were used to decorate railings, pillars, and gateways of many buildings. So now many of these were used to decorate, railings, pillars and gateways of many buildings. They used to just keep it, and then when people used to enter the building, they used to just see it. It looked very beautiful. Finding out about cities, sculptures. Now how can we find out about the cities by sculptures? So cities that developed 2500 years ago were mostly capitals of Mahajanpadas. Okay, and these capitals of Mahajanpadas were fortified. Okay, then archaeologists have found rows of pots. Okay, rows of pots or ceramic rings. Okay, there are some rings arranged one on top of the other, which were known as ring wells. Okay, now I'll just show you the ring well picture. This is the ring well picture archaeologists have found. These seem to be used as toilets in some cases. So these seem to be used as toilets in some cases in some homes. Okay. And also used as drains and garbage dumps. So yes, they're too tall. So they can be used as drains, garbage dumps. Okay. Now another way of finding out about these cities is by the sailors and travelers who visited them. So now sailors, traders, travelers, whoever visited these cities, they often wrote it down in a notebook and whatever. They just note it down what they saw at that place, what is so special at that place that they went. Okay. An unknown Greek sailor. Okay, he was an unknown Greek sailor. He described the port he visited at Bharuch. Bharuch is a place in Gujarat, India only. So this is how he described it. The story of Barry Gaza. Barry Gaza is now Greek. So he's an unknown Greek sailor. So Barry Gaza, they used to call Bharuch Barry Gaza in Greek. Okay. The Gulf is very narrow at Barry Gaza and very hard to navigate for those coming from the sea. So the Gulf over there at Barry Gaza, as you know, in Gujarat there are many gulfs. Yeah, today also Gulf of Kutch and all that. Okay, but that Gulf in Barry Gaza is very narrow. Okay, and it's very hard for those who come from the seaway, like the Arabian Seaway. Those who come from there, it's very hard to navigate that this is Bharuch or no. Have we reached or no? Ships had to be steered in by skillful and experienced local fishermen who were employed by the king. Okay, I hope you understood this line, that the ships had to be driven in such a way, in such a skillful way that the local fishermen used to do. Okay. Then the imports, what came from outside in Barry Gaza were wine, copper, tin, lead, lead, coral, that see the shells and all that, topaz and cloth, gold and silver coins. Many things were imported into Barry Gaza. Exports. Now what used to go outside out of Barry Gaza was plants from the Himalayas. Himalayan plants, as you know, they have a lot of medicinal value. Okay, ivory basically means gold, jewelry, shining one. Okay, agate, carnelian. Now carnelian is a type of red stone. Okay, and cotton was also exported, silk was also exported, and perfumes were also exported. Special gifts were brought, okay, when by merchant for the king. When the merchants, they used to travel, okay, trading purpose, they used to travel, they used to bring special gifts for the king, like vessels of silver, singing boys. Okay, they used to bring singing boys, the boys that would sing and entertain the king. Beautiful women. Okay, they used to bring beautiful women also. Fine wines and fine cloth. Okay, so this was what the Baruch sailor wrote. Now we'll read about coins. Okay, now coins. Now archaeologists have found evidences of coins that are 500 years old and are known as punched mark coins, like the one shown beside this one, something like this. Okay, like this also. Okay, so this is some of the evidences of coins. As you can see, they are not inscribed. Okay, they are not inscribed, they were punched. Okay, they were stamped with different symbols. Okay, and these coins were generally rectangular, like this one. This is rectangular, right? This one as well, little rectangular type, little bit. Square, there were square also, yes, like this one. And there was they were also round, like this one. Okay, and they were either made out of metal sheets or flat metal globules. Globules are like some balls on which you just like flat. They were flat metal globules also. Now the coins were stamped with symbols using punches. Okay, the coins were stamped with symbol using punches. Punches that some figure would be drawn and they would just stamp it. Okay, and metal sheets you have to press really hard, so it must be possible like that. They might have melted, like heated it up a bit, and it would have become little liquidy type, little soft, and then they used to just stamp it and then let it to cool down. It can be like that because nobody will press so hard, you know. So, and they remained in use. So they remained in circulation. Basically, they remained in use till the early century CE. Okay, Christ era. So next topic is cities with many functions. Mathura. Okay, first is Mathura. It is a city that has many functions. So we'll read about what are the functions. Why is Mathura important? Because it is an important settlement for more than 2500 years. 2500 years, more than 2500 years, it has been a very important settlement. Mathura was important also as it was located at the crossroads of two major travel and trade routes. So there was like there was one like north-south trade route and the northwest to east trade route was there. So Mathura lied in the crossroads of these two. Okay, like this is a crossroad, this is one road and this is another road. Okay, so Mathura lied here somewhere. Okay, here in the middle where this finger is. So something like that. Okay, and it was fortified and there were several shrines. Okay, shrines are basically places where it is of a religious value, where it like basically temple type only, but like monastery mostly. Okay, it was also a center of fine sculptured pottery. It was also very famous for sculptured pottery. Okay, 2500 to 2000 years ago, it became the second capital of the Kushans. Kushans we will read in the upcoming chapter. Okay. Mathura was also a religious center. Yes, as there was shrines over here, so of course it is a religious center. It was an important place for the worship of Krishna, yes, because it was the birthplace of Lord Krishna. There were short inscriptions and gifts that were made by kings or queens, officials, merchants and craft persons that they used to just give to these shrines. Okay, they used to just give these to the shrines. So this is a picture of Mathura, a Hindu temple in Mathura. Okay. Craft and craft persons. Now, we know from certain texts that manufacture of cloth was important. Some certain texts were written, like the Arthashastra and all that. So they said that the manufacture of cloth was important. There were centers for this, like at Varanasi and Madurai. So Varanasi and Madurai were two important centers for the manufacture of clothing. Okay. Then craft persons and merchants from a formed associations called Shrinis. Okay, craft persons and merchants. Okay, these two people groups, they formed some association known as Shrinis. Now craft persons had a different Shrini and merchants had a different Shrini. Okay, now we'll see. Now the Shrinis of craft persons, they provided training, procured raw material. That means they had some raw material as well for making cloth, and distributed the finished product. So they made also the finished product and then distributed also. Okay. Then the merchants, the Shrinis of merchants, they organized trade. Okay, they organized how is the trade going on, is it going on well or no. So they organized all that. Now the Shrinis also served as a bank where rich men, women and everyone, basically rich people, could deposit money, their money, and this was invested. Okay, this money was invested, and some part of it, upon part of the interest, it was rather returned. Okay, it was returned, or it was used to support the religious institutions. So either it was returned back to the owner of that money, or it was given to religious institutions to like support them, to help them. Okay. Next topic is Northern Black Polished Ware, NBPW. So now this ware, as the name suggests, this ware was found in the north. It's an extremely fine pottery. Okay, as its name suggests, it was generally found in the northern part of the subcontinent. So we have found this polished ware in the northern part of the subcontinent. It is a hard wheel made. What is wheel made now? Wheel made is some pottery that is made on wheel. Okay, there is a potter's wheel, you must have heard. So on that wheel, they keep some sand and then they start to make like this. So they make it. That is known as a wheel made. Metallic looking ware with a shiny black surface. Okay, it's a metallic looking little with a shiny black surface. It had a shiny, like mirror like shine it had. Okay, a black surface, but it was still black. Why? So the potter used to expose the earthenware to a very high temperature in his skin, which resulted in the blackening of the outer surface. Now, the potter used to expose the earthenware. So now earthenware basically means the raw pottery that was just like made of mud, that was just now. It was made up of clay. Okay, earthenware that was like just now he made it like that. So he just now made it on his wheel. So it's like still wet a bit more. Yes, it's still wet. And then this earthenware he used to expose it at very high temperatures in his skin. So kin is basically like a fireplace. You must have seen in cartoons. Like kin, it's like basically a fireplace in which you just it light fire, it gives out fire. Okay, like something like this. This is the black northern black polished ware, and this is a kin. Okay, this is a kiln. It's something like this, and fire is burning inside, and the potter, he has kept his pottery inside it. Okay, here this is the pottery that he has kept. Okay, and these are the tongas, and this is a fire that is burning inside. I hope you understood it, what is a kiln and all that. And this is the northern black polished ware. So now when he used to expose it in his fireplace, that kiln, he used to expose it in that, then it resulted as the outer surface, no, of the earthenware. It used to get black. Okay, so that is why, see, now that is why you come to know black, northern black. Okay, now polished ware. What do you mean by polished? Why did they say it's polished? Now a fine black slip. Okay, a fine black slip. Slip is something known as basically it is because a fine black slip, you know, a slip that it's a material that you just put it on that and then it starts to shine. Okay, it gives out a shine to give it a mirror like shine. Okay, then a closer look. Now we'll read about another city which had some importance, known as ARIKAMEDU. Okay, it's somewhere in Tamil Nadu only. So now between 2200 and 1900, okay, years ago, ARIKAMEDU was a coastal settlement. It was a coastal settlement where ships unloaded goods. So it was a settlement that was made on the coast of Tamil Nadu. Okay, where ships unloaded and loaded goods. Okay, where mostly it's a coastal settlement, of course ships will be there. Unloaded goods. So pottery from the Mediterranean region, sorry. I hope you understood the Mediterranean, that region. Okay, such as amphorae. Now amphorae is some glass, it's some jug type material with like cylindrical body, and see, it's something like this. I'll show you this here. This is ARIKAMEDU here. Yes, see here, it is a coastal settlement. Okay, here it is ARIKAMEDU. So it's a coastal settlement, you can clearly see that. Then next picture is, this is an amphorae. Okay, this is an amphorae. It has two handles and it has big type body with a little base and then a mouth. Okay, something like that. It was used to fill some liquid material such as oil, wine and all that was kept in this. Okay, and stamped red glazed pottery. Okay, stamped, it's like this. This is the red glazed pottery. Okay, this is stamped. As you can see, there are designs in this. Okay, it's a stamped red glazed pottery known as Aretine ware. So this is known as Aretine ware. That was named after a city in Italy. So Aretine is basically a city in Italy. Okay, and this ware was named after that city. Now locally, okay, this was some pottery that was available at ARIKAMEDU. Locally available potteries included, locally that were located locally available. So now these were potteries that were like brought, no? Yes, city in Italy, so many things, no? This was brought from Italy, maybe. This was also from Mediterranean region, maybe. So this was all from outside and it was available for special purposes only. And then locally, that is locally available, like in the markets and all that. So this then locally available potteries will be Roman ware. Okay, Roman things like Roman lamps, Roman glassware, and Roman gems. So this was some of the locally available potteries and items. Okay, now small tanks that were probably dyeing vats. Dyeing vats means small tank dyeing vats. They used to keep some dyeing color in that, and that was used to dye cloth, basically color cloth. Okay, now there is evidence for making beads. Okay, beads, moti type of beads. Okay, from semi-precious stones, and glass. Okay, thank you and have a nice day. I hope you enjoyed this lesson and keep learning, keep studying well. Thank you.